Hi, I'm Mark Johnson, Executive Director of ECMEC, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about our Digital Navigator Project. ECMEC is a joint powers educational cooperative owned and operated by 14 public school districts and one comprehensive technical and community college in East Central Minnesota. The cooperative has been providing synchronous and hybrid distance education since 1983. In the past decade, services have grown dramatically to include instructional technology, information technology and security, professional development, and advocacy. ECMEC districts continue to work collaboratively to make great things happen for students in our area. With the onset of the COVID pandemic and shift to distance learning in March 2020, ECMEC began working with our member districts to provide whatever support they needed. We discovered quickly that districts needed good data on internet and device access, so we commissioned a survey to use across all of our districts to gather that information. Through the survey, we discovered that approximately 6% of our students had no internet service at all. Nearly 10% did not have a device for distance learning. And we found over 25%, or almost 5,000 students, had internet service, but it was not sufficient to be successful with digital hybrid or distance learning. Based on this information, we continued to provide information to our districts on area service providers, discount programs that they were offering, contact information, and resources related to distance learning. Understanding that the 2020-2021 school year was likely to involve some form of hybrid or distance learning, we worked with our districts to plan for the lack of access and devices that we knew would be a barrier to success. We learned of the Digital Navigator idea being developed through the National Digital Inclusion Alliance and found that it aligned well with many identified needs that our families and students had as they worked through distance learning in the spring. As we began to develop our Digital Navigator project in the summer, we learned of the opportunity to apply for grant funding through the Partnership for a Connected Minnesota. We applied and were awarded a grant in mid-September. During September and October 2020, we trained 15 digital navigators who were assigned to directly support our member districts. Most of them were existing school employees who were pairing extra off-hours duties with their current work in the school district. Through a partnership with the East Central Regional Library, we also trained 19 library personnel. The navigators were introduced to many resources, including provider maps, data on existing service providers and services that they offered, opportunities for low-income families, and much more. We created broadband guides for families that were customized for each district and established a collaborative Google group where the navigators could share resources and ideas and ask questions amongst the group. The navigators have become the single or main point of contact in their respective districts for families and students who are experiencing difficulty with digital distance learning. They work closely with school technology personnel and receive referrals from building administrators, counselors, and staff. The navigators reach out to these identified families through phone, email, text, and other means to offer assistance with obtaining broadband service and refer them to other appropriate school or community resources when and if they identify other needs, such as food or housing insecurity, language barriers, or mental health issues. Our project also contracts with an area technology support vendor to help families with technical issues and has purchased hotspots and/or devices for some districts to satisfy identified needs that the district does not have the funds to address. Through a partnership with East Central Regional Library, library personnel are available to provide navigator services to families as well as the broader community. Many of the library locations have open hours where students can go to the library location to access devices and broadband in a safe and controlled environment. The library also provides hotspots that can be temporarily checked out to test different providers, as sometimes a provider that works in most locations in the district does not work for everyone. It is not surprising that the largest challenge in our area moving forward is a lack of high-speed broadband access. As can be seen on the map from the Minnesota Office of Broadband Development, large portions of the counties ECMEC serves are unserved by any wired broadband services that meet Minnesota's modest 2022 broadband speed goals. The low population density and geography of our area contribute to a poor business case for many providers to bring high-speed services to us, and wireless and cellular service can be spotty and slow. Hotspots are not always the answer, as many households are far from the nearest cell tower, and while phone calls might be possible, the data capabilities degrade rapidly according to distance from the towers. Additionally, these alternate types of broadband service, including fixed wireless, cellular, and satellite, are often cost prohibitive for many of our families. ECMEC instructional technology specialist John Larson interviewed some of our digital navigators to provide their perspectives.
What is your district's greatest success story for 2020? It would definitely be seeing the entire district coming together to implement plans in such a moment's notice, and just being able to be creative and resourceful with such little to work with, which has allowed us to really reach those in dire need of assistance, whether it's internet or devices.
Well, first of all, I think it's just a huge success that our district has made internet support a priority for this school year for all students. Our district invested in enough devices and hotspots so that all students are able to fully participate, whether they're in hybrid learning or distance learning. And that includes those that are quarantining. That was something that we really didn't see, as the digital navigator. I didn't realize that that was going to be such a high need with so many students out for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. A lot of those students, they don't have devices at home or they don't have internet at home. So we made those available during that time so that they didn't fall behind and that they could keep up with their peers for when they did return.
What strategies have worked well and why?
I want to reference we surveyed our stakeholders, and in a couple of cases, we've sent out high stakes questionnaires, and we didn't want to leave it to chance that an email ended up in the spam or overlooked or what have you. So we've actually gotten teams of support staff to reach out and make the phone calls to catch a parent, to catch a guardian, and get that information collected. So there's no voice that is left unheard on some of our communications and our questionnaires, because we want to make sure that everyone has a voice when we're making decisions. And that has been just huge. So that was our biggest one.
Well, this has definitely been a team effort between our teachers, our tech coordinator, our administrators, our counselors have been really involved in this, and just any other staff members. They're just paying really close attention to students that are struggling with their homework, or just noticing if they've got poor internet connections and aren't able to fully participate. And we've just made it known to all the teachers of, what's the process look like if a student needs help. So they know that they need to come to me as the digital navigator, because we have this plan in place. And with this plan, the hope is that I will look at their situation and then decide, is this something that I deal with for broadband access, or do they need a hotspot, or is it a device issue or a technical issue? And that just allows us to really to delegate and get them the help that they need promptly, so that we can get them what they need so they can get back to learning.
Which adaptations your district has made in response to the pandemic do you believe will remain after this whole crisis is over?
Definitely our fully online school aspect that we implemented. The world can be very, very unpredictable, as I'm sure we've seen. And it would not only allow families who need to keep their kids online, whether it's because their kids were bullied, their kids can't focus, they need more one-on-one support from family, to have that option. And it also helps us to prepare in case something like this pandemic happens again.
Teachers have become much more comfortable with video conferencing, and I think parents have too, which provides many more opportunities for communicating virtually. So when meeting in person is not an option, we now have this option to reach out to so many more parents because we have these video conferencing tools like Google Meet and Zoom. And so I think that that's something that'll stick around for a while.
Any other comments or thoughts about the program and how it's impacted your community?
I would have to say it's actually been a really great experience, not just for me, but for the families, because as many as have come to me wondering what they could do if it wasn't for this digital navigator program, then I'm not sure how it would reach them. I was able to get quite a few people Midco, which I don't think we would have talked about had it not been for this. So to be able to have this resource has definitely been a great help for families, and I'm sure it's been a great relief during this pandemic.
I would hope that this role does not go away down the road, because we need to have that sort of position so that when people, no matter if we're in school full-time, in-person learning, post-pandemic, and they need to know who that person is so that they can find out how to navigate the troubles that they're having with their technology.
That's our Digital Navigator program in 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. You can find us at ecmec.org or reach us in any of the ways shown on screen. Thank you.